Now, which millionaire success habits have helped me the most? Now, in no particular order, I'm going to start with number one, which is journaling. Now, I'm a big fan of technology, as you guys know if you've been following my channel for a long time, but I think journaling is really quite key. It could be on pen and paper, and I find pen and paper, even though it's old-fashioned and you always want the digital side as well, it's one of the best ways you can actually focus on your goals. Write down your goals, focus on what you want to achieve every single week, analyze the week, analyze the day. Journaling, I think that's really one of the key things. Number two, I would say, of course, is living below my means. That's quite obvious. Number three, I would say reading more. Now, I made the key mistake after I left university for a couple of years of reading less, because I thought, well, I'm busy, but everyone can find time. So actually in recent years, I've read more, even if sometimes it's been audiobooks on Audible rather than always focusing on the written word. But reading more has been absolutely key. Number four, I would say, is being more selective with who I associate myself with in the real world. What I mean by that is we are all consciously or unconsciously actually influenced by the people we surround ourselves with. So for example, if you spend your time with criminals, you're more likely to become a criminal. That's an extreme case, but you get my point. So when I started to become more selective with the kind of people I associate myself with, that made a huge difference to everything like mentality, the decisions I made, and so on and so forth. Number five would be investing money, not saving money. When you save money, really, you can't really beat inflation, or you can beat it a little bit at best. You're taking a lot of risks, sometimes currency risks, rather than actually getting a yield for your money. Number six is not focusing on just selling my time for money. Now, I think in the early years, it's very good for people to get a job. And for people who are very highly skilled and are in the right niche, they can make a lot of money from selling their services to an employer for a wage or a salary. But for the vast majority of people, they can't usually do that well with this kind of basic model. That doesn't mean everyone can start their own business, but I do think even if someone has a side gig where they're kind of working on their own projects, that can make a huge difference. I know some people who have got a full-time job, but on the side, they're starting to make some decent money from their own projects. And if it works out for them, they'll quit their job and just do their own projects. So not just selling your time for money, I think that's also another key tip. Apart from that, I would say breaking norms is another key thing. So if you do normal things, you're going to get normal results. If you do extraordinary things, you're going to more likely get extraordinary results. But also linked to that is playing the numbers game. If you take extraordinary actions and you just do it once in your lifetime, it's probably not going to make much of a difference. But if you keep doing it over time, you play the numbers game, you're more likely to succeed. And I've noticed a lot of high net wealth people are much less likely to care about what other people think about them, much less likely to care about what the norms are in their society. So I'll give you an example. When it comes to investing money, I've noticed that, for example, most Indians will invest in gold because it's normal culturally. Most British people invest in property and so on and so forth. But once you get to the high level, those cultural norms start to decrease a lot. I've met a lot of high net wealth Indians who don't like investing in gold, or they just want it as a portion of their portfolio. Same with British people. I've met plenty of high net wealth British people who actually, they don't want property, or they just want one house. They're not obsessed with property like the average person in the country. That's the same in business or any kind of domain. However, in business often, just having one idea which is out of the ordinary is not going to be enough sometimes, because it's a competitive world out there. Sometimes you need to try 50 or 100 ideas for another one to work. And that leads me on to another thing, which is always evolving, always changing, always trying new ideas. So let me give you an example. A year ago, I had about 10 or 11 different ways of getting clients. So I thought, well, what about the 12th way? When I got the 12th way, I focused, okay, what's the 13th way? Then the 14th way. And it's always going to continue like that, or never stand still. Likewise, as I announced a few videos ago, I'm going to start the Adam Fayed Academy with different kind of services. And I've noticed that people who are sustainably wealthy, they don't stand still. They're not likely to be complacent. They're always moving with the times. But by the same token, as I mentioned before, they may be playing the numbers game. A great example is I know a real estate agent, very, very much top of his game. He has 5 or 6 different kind of key ways of getting clients. But when it comes to trying new ways, he's willing to try 100 ideas, 150 ideas, whatever it takes. And if it doesn't work, okay, throw it in the bin, go to the next idea. That doesn't work, go to the next idea. It can take him 3 to 6 months or even longer sometimes to always find a new idea. But most people think, well, he's successful. Why does he need to push himself to find new ways of doing business? But he realizes that being complacent and standing still, that's not a recipe for the long term. So you should always be kind of pushing yourself. And that's one of the key differences I've noticed. Okay, everyone, I've got some really exciting news today. So for a couple of years now, many people have asked me, well, look, I can't afford your minimum investments, but I really like your advice. I don't know if you can do this or you can do that, or you can help me in that way, or you can't help me in that way. I've always said, no, I can only do this or that, but I've got some really exciting news, and that's that in a couple of months before the end of the year, I will be bringing out what I'm calling the Adam Fayed Academy, which will have many new areas which will be of interest to people. So things like mentoring, tutoring, all those kind of things that people have asked me for in the past. So stay tuned. I'm going to be announcing it in the next few months, but I thought I would tell it to you guys before. Let me know if there's anything in particular that you're looking for in this academy. We're going to be focusing on many different areas, including how to invest productively, also some business areas, because that's another thing people have asked me about before. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you up to date.